Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm the daughter.
Megan, what are we playing today?
We're going to play Comic Hunters. This is from Spin Master Games.
Yes, this is a game where we are basically going to be on the lookout for all these different Marvel comic books. Looks really cool.
It does.
So let's just get it to the table and check it out.
Okay.
For a two-player game, setup is a little bit different because we are going to actually remove two of the heroes, and you have to have Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what the setup said there. But what I did was I took all of the tokens, I just shuffled them up in my hand, placed them out randomly. The two that were not being used are Black Panther and Black Widow. So we have pulled all of their single cards out of these decks, so they are not in here. If they are featured with another character, those cards remain, but if it was just like their solo edition of a comic, they get pulled from the game.
Yep. We also did the same thing with the highlights because there's, what, 6 different things that you could have for highlights? So there's the number 1, there is first appearance, there is new look, special edition, or epic battle.
Yep. So for this one, the new look and the first edition are removed. But we have the verses, we have the number 1, and we have the little diamond one.
Yeah, the diamond is the special edition.
Yeah. So we have those. So
also as part of setup, what we are going to do is we have a stash track, and we're each going to be starting on 15. And we have a convention deck. Now, the way we're going to set up the convention deck is we are going to take 6 of the number 1 cards, 10 of the number 2s, and 10 of the number 3s. We shuffle all those up, and when we do the convention, we will then use those. And I've got this nice little card holder here, and I just put them in there because this will grow over time. Also, with a 2-player only game, we have a specific schedule that we are going to use. Now, this is the same schedule that's listed on the board, but we have a player A and a player B for certain who's going to basically get the first turn of that phase. I'm going to actually start as player A, and I get the Stanley glasses.
It said the first player is determined by the last person that most recently watched a Marvel movie or read a Marvel comic.
And we both watched Iron Man 2 the other day when it was on TV. So Megan had...
I just gave it to you.
She gave it to me. So I'm player 1. Megan will be player... Or I'll be player A. Megan will be player B. And then the last one, and you can see on the page here, that it says... whoever has the lowest score of the highlight tracks, you're going to add all the numbers of that together, and then whoever is in last place is actually going to go first in the convention phase. Now, when we play these, on the schedule that we have, so the first round we're going to do the store, the flea market, and the convention, and then we're going to assemble our collection. And then the second phase, we're going to do the store, auction site, and convention, and then we assemble our collection. And then the last phase, we're going to be doing the flea market, the auction, and the convention. You notice we do the convention all the time. And then we assemble our collection. Now, when we do assemble our collection, we have to pay for those cards. So we're going to talk about each one of those in detail, kind of as we play through. And like I said, there are some differences in a 2-player game, and we'll cover those at that time. But let's get ready to play. And one of the reasons why we have the board way up here is because we actually need this space for the different things that we're going to be doing. So the first thing we're going to be doing on the schedule is the store. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that number 1 deck, and we're going to deal 7 cards to each player. Then what we're going to do is we're each going to pick a card simultaneously that we want to keep and add to our hand. Then what we're going to do is we're going to pick a card that we want to be out of the game. The other thing we got to look at too is up here on the set collection. So the hero tracker. So the Iron Man comics are actually the most valuable. Then followed by Thor and Hulk. Then we have Captain America, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man. So that's kind of how we maybe how we want to pick the cards that we are going to be using. So let's do that and that. Then we pass those cards to the other player, and we do the same thing until we have no more cards.
Mine.
So we should have 4 cards that are going to be in our hand.
And these are back to the box.
Yes.
Okay, so that was the store. Now we move on to the flea market. We will use deck number 2.
Yes, so the flea market, what we're going to do is we're actually going to set up 3 different rows here. The first row is going to have 4 cards, and then 3, and then 2.
Yep.
And the way we're going to do that is, according to the 2-player chart, player B, which will be you, will actually get to go, or excuse me, player A gets to go first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip a card over, and I'm going to decide which one of these rows that I want to put it in. Now, anytime on your turn, if you don't want to put a new card out, or you can't, then you're going to choose a row to take. And you're going to add those cards to your hand. So I will go ahead and flip this card over, and I see we have a Doctor Strange. I'm going to place that right here.
Put that there.
Okay, we'll draw another card and put a Hulk on there. It's a gray Hulk.
It is, yeah. It's 88.
So the only place to put that card is going to be here.
Yeah.
Now I get to choose what I want to take. Well, none of these icons are really great. We do have verses in a first. You know what? I will take this.
Did you know there's bi-coastal Avengers?
Bi-coastal?
Apparently. That's what it says on that one. I'll take this one.
Now, these cards that are left over actually go into the convention deck, and it says to shuffle them in. We just put them in here, then when we get ready to do the convention part, we shuffle those up, which is now. So I'm going to take all these cards.
Yep.
I'm going to give them a good shuffle. In a 2-player game, we're actually going to have this in a specific order, unlike what the other one is. So we're going to have 5 cards across the top. And then we're going to have 3 cards in the next row, and you'll see the pattern here. And then this one, we're going to have 4 cards.
You skip the middle.
And then we're back to 3. And finally at 5. And I'm not sure, oops.
Yeah, you skip one there.
If this is showing up on camera, I'll have to double check. All right, so we're going to adjust the camera angle a little bit there just during the convention phase. It does actually take up quite a bit of space. Let's see if we can maybe get these a little bit more.
Tighter. A little bit.
There we go. We can pretty much see most of the board there. And we'll adjust that as we go. This represents the convention phase. What we're going to do is we're each going to pick a hero. And based on either the row or the column that card is in, we take all of the cards of that hero. Now, the blank spaces are going to be so we can actually move cards. We can move a card as far as we can. So like I could move this card to there, but I can't go any further because there's no other spots.
You cannot go diagonally.
You cannot go diagonally, not diagonal alley. But we could move this card here, and then you could take, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and it's only one card per movement, so you can't like mess up the whole grid.
Correct.
And make your own like row.
But as long as you have free spaces in it, and that'll clear up here in just a little bit. You can move those. You can never move outside of the grid though.
No, it's got to stay in the 5x5.
Yeah. So for the first convention, player B gets to go first, which is you.
That's me. Okay.
Now, a lot of times you may not be taking cards just to take them because of the heroes. You may be taking them because of the amount of money that they are going to generate when you assemble your collection. And we'll kind of talk about that in a minute.
So your number here also counts as your like currency to pay for those. So that's kind of why you might want to look at those.
It's also the cost of the card in a way.
Yes, market value. I see a couple good options. Yeah, I'm gonna move this Iron Man here. Claim Iron Man. So I'll take those 3.
So you can see that's opened up.
Yeah, so you can start maneuvering. Things. I always get distracted, especially in this phase, because I like look at all the artwork.
I'm gonna do this. And I'm gonna take Doctor Strange.
Nice. Okay. Nope. Spider-Man.
Oh, all of those.
All of those.
That was a lot. That was the most I think anybody's ever taken.
Yep.
Back to me. Well, let's see.
You could move Thor down and take 3 Thor, and that would at least give you 3 2s.
That is true.
6 currency.
But if these are Jedi mind tricks.
I can't go again, so, you know.
Yeah, I'll take these 3
I'm
Thors.
just saying, that's good money.
Now, all these cards that are left, we're going to pick those up, and those are going to go actually back into the convention stack. Now what we're going to do is we are going to assemble our collection. Now, we have to assemble at least 2 cards to be in a collection.
Start it off.
And you have to pay for those, like Megan was saying. A 1, you have to pay a 1. A 2, you have to pay a 2. A 3, you have to pay a 3. And your collection can be as many as you can basically afford.
Yep.
But you can only carry 2 cards over after this round. So any other cards that you can't use to pay are kind of lost. So you want to kind of use those the best that you can.
A thing that I've kind of found useful, and I think even the guy when we demoed this at Gen Con said, you know, like if you're going to like, you know, use this, when you have the card that you want as payment, kind of like set it down a little differently to be like, okay, I know I've paid for that card, and flip it over so you know that was like the one you're using for money and you don't get confused. That's kind of something I found helpful. And you don't get change.
Yes, there is no
So
change.
you gotta kind of be a little strategic with some of your placement.
And at this point, I don't care about Megan seeing my cards.
No,
I just want to kind of put things out and see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And you don't have to play all of the cards of one hero out at a time if you don't want
when
to.
You're doing it, yeah.
All right, so I have to pay 12 for my collection here. I have 3 Spider-Man and I have 4 Thor.
Okay.
So those cards that we use to pay, those are going to go into the convention deck. So you can see how that's going to grow.
Hang on. Put the wrong card down.
Oh.
Sorry.
Do you remember which one it was?
I think I just put him in the wrong deck. Because I put an Iron Man in my Hulk pile and I think I meant to just move him over. I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay. That's all I did. I paid. I just put him in the wrong deck.
All right.
Yep, we're good. We're good. Sorry.
All right. I have 2 cards left.
I have 1.
Okay.
Yep.
So now we are going to go back.
Highlights. You have to update your highlight track.
Oh, yeah.
So the way you do this is you look at the icon here and you count how many you have, but it goes off of the card value. So like I have a diamond here and it's a 2, so that will be 2 for me. Do you have any of those?
Diamonds?
Yes,
I have 1.
Okay.
Now, we also don't want to confuse you.
I'm
Megan is actually green.
It's a teal.
Because it's, yeah.
It's like
so
my
I'm
color.
orange. So just wanted to
There were
let
no,
everybody know
there
that.
were no true blue and green, but yes.
True blue.
True blue. So I have 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 1.
I have 2. Number
2.
1.
And then versus, I have 3.
I have 4.
Okay. So that is updated. That
Okay.
comes into play later.
Yep. All right. So now we are back to the store.
Yes.
So again, we're going to deal 7 cards to each player. And it just works out that that's all the number 1 cards.
Yep.
And my number 1 customer.
Ooh, interesting.
Gonna keep that, and let's get rid of that. And then you get that card, and I get that card.
Okay.
All right, so that is the store.
These go away.
Yep. Next, we're going to go to the auction phase. Now, the auction is like a website.
Yeah.
And in a 2-player game, you're only going to have 2 lots. You're going to have basically 1 lot of 4 cards and 1 lot of 3 cards. So the auction is going to be player B.
Me.
And you can tell on the board here, it shows the 3.
Yep.
So since Megan is essentially going to be leading us off, she is going to pick which one of these we want to bid on first,
And our
and
bidding,
then she starts the bidding.
our bidding is used with our secret stash, like tickets up here. So you have 15 to use, and then the other thing is, if you are left with the other row, you have to pay for that with your secret stash points.
Yes.
So
This is a little
this gets a little,
unbalanced, I think.
because if I would have happened to say I won this one, you would be left with 3, 6, 9, 12 to purchase.
Mhm.
And if you don't have that many based on where you're at, you have to then pick what you can afford. So that's kind of, I think that's a little wonky too, but there is some strategy with it, I think, as well. I'm going to bid on this one. I'm going to bid 3. Start
4.
with 5,
6,
7,
8.
9,
Yours.
9. So, 6. So, there you go.
So, sadly, if I want all 3 of these, I have to pay 9. So I will pay.
We're even.
I'll pay 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so then back to the convention.
All right. So we're going to shuffle these cards up.
So which player gets to start here?
So this
this
is
one,
this
the
is the second convention. So it's player A, which would be me.
You. Okay.
It's gonna be me. You know what? I'm not actually gonna
You're not gonna move?
anything. I'm just gonna take Doctor Strange out of this row because there's
That's good.
3 right there.
Yep. Takes 2 3s. It's pretty nice. I'm gonna take Hulk.
Okay.
2 3s for nothing else.
Yeah.
Money, money, money.
Money, 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 money.
I wish I could have moved him there and taken those.
Yeah.
Gwen's in the way there.
Oh, it's Gwen's fault.
You know, she just, wouldn't have gone to that, clock tower. Broken neck. I don't know.
Move
It takes
this
5.
card down,
Take 2.
and then I'm taking Cap.
Why did you move her then? Just to move?
Just
to move
to
her.
move.
Okay. All right. Well, how's that?
So. Oh, that's right, because you already gone twice. All right,
Yeah.
so all these cards are going to go back into the convention deck. I was thinking I was trying to
No,
keep
I was just
movement
like,
going.
huh?
Yeah, it didn't really matter.
It's like, all right, so now we assemble.
Avengers Assemble.
I got cards, but I gotta pay for them. didn't pay for all that?
It's these.
Whoa.
9, 10, 11, 12. All right.
Whoa.
So that's fine.
You threw me off because you had them splayed out the front
Sorry.
side. So I was like, how many are you building?
Sorry.
No, you had me worried. So you've got caps. Okay, so you only have 3.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So now we're going to adjust the highlights.
Yes.
I am going to. You're going to do my cards first.
Sure. Go
So
first.
I'm going to get
Diamond.
1, 4, 5, 5 in diamond track
Total.
total.
Okay. Oh, that's
No.
me. Sorry.
5. So I should be on 6. I was on 1, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was on 1. So that was the diamonds.
Number 1.
Number 1, I've got
2, 4.
2, 3,
5.
4.
Total. 6.
1, 2, 3, 4. So add 4 more from where
Okay.
I was. I was on 2, so I should be on 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then verses,
Versus.
I have 1, 2. 2 more on verses.
6 total. Okay. Okay, so I have diamonds. I've got 5 total. Number 1, so I have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then versus 1, 2, 3, 4 total. So just bumped up 1.
Okay, I have 2 cards left.
I have 1.
Okay, so next thing we do is we're going to go to the flea market. Flea market, we're going to take the number 2 cards, and we're going to start with, yep. So this is the last flea market. It's player B, so it's going to be you
Okay.
starting. So 4, 3, 2.
Might as well see what we've got. You want to put one more out, or you want to take?
I'm trying to decide here.
You've got 3 collections going. I only got 2 right now.
Yeah, I'm going to take these.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna flip, see what it is. And I'm gonna take these, so those can go.
Those go to the convention.
So now we do an auction.
Go to the auction site. So the auction is going to be with 3s. And this is the final auction. So it's player A, so it would be me.
We both have 6 to bid.
So I will choose which one I want to put up.
Lots of 4s.
There is a lot of Thors.
Which is good for you.
So we're gonna bid on this one.
All right.
And I will bid 6.
I mean, yeah,
So-
take it. That's all you've got.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
You can get 2 cards if you want.
I'm just gonna do 3 because these are both VP at the end.
They are.
So
All right. So now we are back to the convention. So you can see we've got a big convention deck now. Okay, so what we're going to do for the final convention, we add up all of the highlight scores, and we find out who is actually in last place. They're going to be the ones who get to go first. So I have 5, 9, 19.
that's not you.
That is you.
That is me.
You have 19. I have 18.
So you.
So I will go first.
It's throwing you off because you're not green.
It is. It does throw me off quite a bit.
But it's teal.
You know, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to take Iron Man.
Nice. Strange.
Okay.
Just 2 3s. I couldn't not.
Yeah.
Especially when this is the last round.
I'm gonna look at the icons closely, figure out what it is I need. You know, I think I'm just going to take Strange across the top here.
That's good. There you go.
4 cards.
All right.
You get to go.
You do have one more.
Yep.
You're right. What do I want to do? Hulk.
Oh, all those are Hulk.
All those are Hulk.
All right.
There we go.
So all these cards are just going to go away because we're not going to have another convention. And then finally, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to assemble the last part of our collection here. All right.
Yep.
So I am adding.
Whoa.
That does not add any to the highlight track, so I'm just going to put Spidey there.
You can pay for all those?
Yep, I did. I had a lot of 3s.
Oh, I'm dead.
So none of those. Here I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more on the verses.
5 more.
And number 1s, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the diamonds, so the limited edition or special edition, I get nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So 3. Ones would say the same. Diamonds 2, 4, 7 versus 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. All right.
All right, so now we are ready for final scoring.
And a
So,
handy dandy score pad here.
I'm going to let you run through that.
Okay. So we start with collection size.
So this is where we're going to look at that. So let's just.
We'll start with you. You have more.
Okay. I was going to say we'll start with you because you have less.
Okay. Well, whatever then.
So you have Iron. Oh, crud.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Iron Man.
So 9 Iron Man would be 24 points.
And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Hulk.
7 Hulk would be 10 points.
So that is 34 for my collection size. You have.
Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Thor.
10.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Spidey.
8.
I have 3 Iron Man.
6.
I have 4 Cap.
4.
And I have 4 Doctor Strange.
4. 32. You're still under me. Collection variety.
So
I get 0 because you have to have more than 3.
Yeah.
Or 3.
I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 collections, which is 15 points.
Dang. Secret stash points. You have 0.
I have 0. You have 3.
I have 3. So first highlight. So this is a little different in the 2-player version.
Yes. So the first player on each track is going to get 15 points, and the second player is going to get 8 points.
So I have it on the first track. You have it on the second. And you have it on the third. All right, so let's tally up and see who wins.
That's all there is. So we're going to tally that up, and we're going to see who gets what would be the trophy. The Avengers Assemble trophy?
The Stanley autograph comic.
Oh, all right. That'd be a good one. Since we don't have an autographed Stan Lee comic, we'll use the bronze Funko of Stan Lee as our trophy. I finished with 85, which is my personal high.
That is, yeah.
And Megan had 68. So now let's get to what we think.
I thought I was doing good with my Iron Man collection. I was hoping to get out into that 48 range. So that's kind of where I fell short. I probably needed to do a third collection.
Yeah.
I had a lot of Strange in my hand, but I kept using him for payment because I was like, well, he's on the bottom, so.
Well, that's kind of what I was doing there towards the end. In fact,
Yeah.
I had so much Strange in my hand that I was even able to get 4 cards down as a set and use his number 3s to help pay for things.
And I thought about that too, but I was like, kind of want to try to build him out more, and that's maybe where I went wrong this game.
Because there are a number of different things that you can try in this.
I have won all the other games we played.
You have. This was my first. This was my first win. I think in the previous games, both of us have kind of ignored the varied collections. Those points aren't, to scoff at. In fact, when you look at, where do you fall over here, and as far as what points you're getting there, you may need to switch gears and get a bunch of varied sets, even though they're, I have 3s and 4s.
But it's something just to get you up there.
Yeah, that gets me quite a few points.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of different things you can try with that. But as far as our review, I'm going to let you go first because you are more of the active comic reader than I am.
Yeah, I read some of these actually, so that's kind of where I think this is the coolest part of this game, is that it uses real comic books. I know you asked me that. You're like, is it just like flavor text on the bottom? I'm like, no, it is the publication date and like what issue number it is. So it is kind of cool. So like some of the Spider-Man, I know I've read some of the Cap and the Iron Man. I'm familiar with seeing some of the other art, like that one with like Lady Thor on the cover there. So I mean, I think the art is the coolest thing about it. And I think that's what drew a lot of people to this at Gen Con, was just kind of looking at like the art. So it is kind of very nerdy in that regard. I think that is probably the coolest part of this game. And it is, thematic. You are collecting your comic books and you're trying to find rare ones and all. And I forget like what the year breakdown was. One is like the golden age of comics, one's more modern. Yeah, it's in the book.
Yeah, I think.
And that's kind of how they're like separated. So like your 3s are like your older comics, so that's why they cost more too. Because your 1s are like your more modern ones. Because like I definitely know I've seen some of those like mid 2000s to now, like your Gwen Stacy one and all that. That's pretty modern.
All right. So the art to me is what really makes this game. Kind of like what you were saying. And like I'm going to show this Cap off because this is the Falcon as Cap, and it's a number 1.
Yeah, that one's
there.
Sam.
And you can kind of see the difference in the art style there between.
I mean,
let's see. Let's find
the red.
Like
the
here.
red is your classic, your green is your contemporary, your 2 is your modern. So yeah, your contemporary is what you see in comic book shops right now, is like your newer releases. But yeah, the red is the vintage ones. That's why they're more money. Because those are your Jack Kirby's, your Stan Lee's, the ones that they all had a hand in.
Yeah.
And then like I know some of the more modern ones, like the Spider-Man's like Dan Slott. Your Iron Man is like Brian Michael Bendis. So those are your more contemporary artists. I know all of this.
My mind is just blown that she
I
knew
really
that.
like Bendis. He's really good. I read all of his Iron Man. He does some Daredevil. Dan Slott is really good for Spider-Man.
So speaking of heroes, who is your favorite superhero?
Spidey.
Yeah.
Spidey is my favorite non-Avenger superhero. Cap is my favorite Avenger. And then I like Guardians.
But during the whole MCU rollout, as we were leading up to Civil War, it was very apparent. Megan was Team Cap. I was Team Iron Man. And there was no doubt about any of that.
Just because someone gets a little brainwashed and kills your parents doesn't mean you start a whole war. Just saying. I love Bucky, though, so I'm a Bucky apologist.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bucky, there's one right there of him. Yeah, I mean, there's a Civil War artwork card in here, too, in one of them. I mean, and it's the very, their Civil War. Very modern. I know, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that we did sleeve these with Riker sleeves.
We did.
I love Riker sleeves, but we did notice that with the insert,
it's not a good insert.
The level 3s card, or the deck for level 3s, kind of got warped a little bit.
Yeah.
And here's the insert now with the sleeves on there. I'm going to throw this insert away.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to. I don't think they'll fit. Will they?
I don't think they will.
Actually, they do.
Well,
but I also don't want to.
Once you stack them, I don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't want to further destroy my cards.
But yeah, like our 3s are very warped. That might not be the best
If you
one, but
can
just even kind of
see that one a
looking
little bit.
like the corners are popping off the table just having them here. So that's mainly why we sleeved them.
And I do have to show off
yeah.
the inside of
It's the coolest
the
one.
box, because we actually were able to meet the designer at Gen Con, and he wrote this nice little note for us. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, so we demoed it on our last day because demoing this was such a pain to get into this booth.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
it was one of the
the
hottest games at Gen Con. I know the first day that we tried to get in line for it, they basically said they're sold out.
Well, Wednesday night, we saw all the ads for it, and we're like, oh, this is like a big deal.
And that was not even on our radar until then.
We were like, oh, it's a Marvel game. We'll check it out. And then, Thursday we got in line. We were wrapped around a whole nother booth, and I forget even what booth it was, but I felt bad for them.
All play.
Yeah, they were just like, are you here for Spin Master? We're like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we were like wrapped around all the way at the end of the hall in line. We finally got in our last day to demo it, and then once we did, we're like, yeah, we want it, we bought it, and the designer was there, so we said, yeah, bust it open, have him sign it. But for demoing it, we did get some cool foil cards.
Yes.
We didn't put these in the sleeves just because we can tell the difference on the backing.
These are duplicates of what we have.
Are. But yeah, I mean, they're cool just to have, though, too.
They are cool, and like you said, yeah, they're darker.
Yeah,
here,
than your standard.
See.
Even sleeving it with the frosted, we could tell there was a difference.
Yeah.
Not that we're necessarily going to know which one it was, but yeah, we didn't choose to add those in.
Yeah, but these are cool.
They are very cool. It was a cool promo. And I got a pin, too.
Yeah, so we both agree that the art is really good. Now, let's talk a little bit about gameplay. Because gameplay is a bit wonky.
The rule book is a little wonky for a 2-player variant. I felt like we had to read the normal rules and then kind of figure out, okay, how are they tweaking this for a 2-player version? And we were constantly flipping back and forth. There are some errors in the book because it would be like, go to this page, and I'm like, nothing is relevant to that page. So I said, maybe that's a typo, change pages. And then we found what we were looking for. So something very minor, but it was kind of just, I think it could have used another round of editing maybe before going out, but
so
yeah, we figured it out.
Yeah,
so hopefully we
and it really only took that first game to kind of figure it out.
Got it.
And everything else after that clicked. But gameplay, there, you have the store, the flea market, the auction, and the convention all play completely different as far as adding which cards into your hand to ultimately create your collection. And that's actually what I like about the game.
It's not just a simple set collection.
Yes. And the fact that you don't do each one of those each time. My favorite one, I think, is actually the convention.
I do too, because I like the moving about to make your the best option for you. I think that's cool.
And if you think about it thematically,
going through the halls,
going to the store is level 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the contemporary ones, right?
Hall.
So you're going into a store,
you're
buying it.
Current
the
releases.
Flea market, you're finding the ones that are a little slightly older. Then when you go to the auction, you're going for the more rare ones, the harder to find.
Yep.
And then convention, there really is everything because you can find anything in the convention. You look at a lot of comics whenever we go to conventions.
I'm trying to collect a Daredevil set, and I accidentally started collecting 2 at the same time. And then some of the Spideys I'm trying to get as well.
We don't have Daredevil in this.
There is one Daredevil card, and it's on a Black Widow. Actually, there's 2. He's featured on Black Widow cards.
We may have showed this off in our unboxing.
Yeah, this one because it looks like he just got slapped.
Because I know you like Daredevil.
I do like Daredevil. He's my favorite.
Oh, they are actually Daredevil cards, but they have their Black Widows.
They're Daredevil comics, but and I think I've read this one too. I might own that one actually. I don't know. So that's part of the round I'm collecting.
So that's kind of the positive. I can see, before we go on to the negative parts, I can see them expanding this by adding other heroes, which I would actually like to see, because
you have your core set.
There's only 8 heroes.
Yeah.
So it's Black Widow, Black Panther, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Captain America, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man.
So you could add the Guardians.
You could.
That could be something.
Guardians could be almost a whole.
It could be a whole thing, yeah.
Well, I would probably consider them to be one faction.
It would be one
faction. You could add the
Fantastic
Four. You could add
you could add Daredevil.
Ant-Man. You could add Daredevil.
Yeah.
I wouldn't add like Jessica Jones or Luke Cage or
I love
Iron
Jessica
Fist.
Jones, though.
No, you like.
I do like
Kilgrave.
but Jessica Jones was a good show. But
so,
I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, you could add, Captain Marvel. It's not necessarily our favorite, but you could add her in.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's plenty of comics that you could definitely add here. You could just do a whole shield run. Yeah, Nick Fury.
So now let's talk about the negative. I want to talk about the board first because I think there was some misses here. Now, the board is on its own. I actually don't have a problem with, but the highlights where you have 15, 12, 8, and 3, that's only good for a 4-player. So, and they have all this other real estate that I really wish that they would have put
4-player.
Break that down.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint about the board.
Yeah.
The tokens are
flimsy.
so thin. They do have a 20 on the back, so if you do wrap around on a highlight.
I could see that in a higher game. But yeah, I mean, they're serviceable.
They're
very,
very
thin. When I was punching them out, I was really worried about ripping them just because of how thin they are. They work. I mean, I don't think they really need, I mean, they could have been, you know, like wooden tokens or just even plastic. But yeah, they are very thin and flimsy.
Yeah. And I don't know if they made it that way so they would stack easier than they would.
Cost or production, I don't know.
And I realize the size of the board is relative to the size of the box.
Yes.
Because they didn't want to make the board too big where you'd have to put it bigger.
Box. I mean, it's easy to
I'd
throw
say
in
it's
your
a
bag,
small one.
but it's easy enough to like travel with. Is what I'm saying. It's not like a big board game.
But I like the art on the board.
Yeah.
But that really is it. And the card stock, it's not
a linen finish.
It's not a linen finish, which is one of the reasons why I decided to sleeve it.
Warped.
And because they had warped, so I'm hoping that over time that kind of fixes the warping on those 3s. Now, not saying everybody's going to have that. We had it because of the way the insert was in our box.
Yeah.
But other than that, I had no problems with it.
No.
The score pad I think is actually it's kind of nice.
It's not double-sided.
Not
double sided.
double-sided.
So many.
But you do have quite a bit there. And it's colorful and it's easy to read and
helps you walk through it.
And you've got really good handwriting.
I thought that was really sloppy for me, so okay.
Oh, well, compared to my handwriting, I know
that was not my best.
I know it's better.
On that.
So really, the only negatives are the tokens.
The
the score part there for the highlights,
but
and the rule book could have been a little bit better. Positives that I think really, I don't even think about that is the artwork and the unique gameplay for me.
They could have Deadpool and X-Men. I'm just looking at our Marvel Christmas tree that's up behind us, and I'm like, yeah, we could add them because Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, definitely Deadpool.
There's
that would be awesome.
Right there. Yeah, I got distracted.
And I know when we were at Gen Con, we talked to the designer.
Yes.
Where it's like,
he was cool.
Besides expansions, would you come out with the DC version?
I think it's all about licensing, really, too.
I'm sure it is because this game did not come out this year. It came out. It was available in the United States this year, but I think it actually came out in 2020. But
new to Americans.
Yeah, it's new to us. But no, I really enjoy this game. Like I said, I like it because of the different aspects, the way it plays. The reason why I like the convention too is because, like I had said, I think during gameplay, you're not necessarily looking at cards you want to make a collection with, but cards that you can use to pay for the cards you want to add.
I brought that up in our one game, and you're like, "Oh, that's like the meta of it all."
It's like I didn't think of it.
I'm like, I shouldn't have said it because then it.
Because then I started actually doing that because I was thinking about it. Well, I want to add Iron Man to my collection.
But I was like, I might take a whole different character just because they got 3s and 2s, and that's money.
Well, and that's what I was doing too. That's what I do.
It makes you think a little bit different, but yeah. I mean, I just like sitting here and looking at some of the art. I think that's the coolest thing about it.
It is, and I kind of get lost, especially when we have the convention up and we
have
all of those spread on the table. Well, even with the auction and the
but more with the convention because you have
more out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I think that's also part of the game is enjoying and appreciating the art.
Yeah. So if you are a comic lover, I think you're going to appreciate it. If you're just a general Marvel fan who's not into comics, I think obviously you can appreciate all the art.
I could actually see people being Marvel fans, maybe from the MCU, that don't read comics, that actually might start reading some of the comics based on the art that they're seeing here. And they're like, oh, well, this one looks, so cool. I want to see if I can find that and read that comic.
And most of these are like, the first edition in a run. So then that could get you started on a whole arc of stories.
Ooh, that was Gabi.
Yeah, there's some cool... See, I love the Spider-Man art. But yeah. I mean, it's cool. We were laughing because we saw this one and we had just watched the end of Iron Man 1 and I was like, look at what Obadiah looks like in purple.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, it's funny just to see how different, comic art style has changed too. But yeah, it's cool. It's very cool.
So, like I said, everything that I like about the game, I'm giving it 2 thumbs way up.
2 thumbs up.
This is going to be probably in my top 5 games of the year.
Yeah,
just because of the content and the art. And like I said, I like the unique gameplay.
Yeah.
All right. So that is Comic Hunters from Spin Master. And we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
So Megan had alluded to our Marvel, or this is actually a superhero Christmas tree. It is predominantly Marvel. You can see at the very top we have a little Marvel sign. But this is more superhero oriented because, you know, I kind of have the Rocketeer there, and I have Syndrome, you know, and different Incredibles ornaments. You can see I've got, you know, Sheldon as the Flash, you know, from the Big Bang. I've got several Iron Man. I've got Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, a lot of Iron Man on there.
If that's your favorite character.
It might be. I got a couple of Deadpools on there too. Some other Batman villains and Batgirl. There's a bunch of Spidey on there. Thor, Cap, Flash. But just thought I'd show that off. Thanks for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, click that like and subscribe button. You can also follow us on social media like Facebook
And Twitter at DadBeDaughter.
And if you like what we do and you want to support us, you can visit our Patreon page. So thanks for watching.
Thanks.